Hey, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Thanks for joining. And by the way, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. You also made me a really, really nice Instagram birthday post that I love so much. So that is
Yeah,
very, very appreciated. It's so cute. It has like a picture of Kepler at the temple and with like the birthday text. I love it so much.
yeah. You told me about that. Like, Astor is your. No, oh, sorry. What is that name? Kepler. Kepler is your favorite love interest. So I thought, like, dude, it would be super awesome. Yeah. I'm glad you liked it.
It was so nice when I saw it. I had a little bit of tears of joy at first because I've never had like an Instagram post something like that dedicated to me, so I really do appreciate it.
Oh yeah, always welcome. Like I've really enjoyed our conversations, not only just here but also interacting on on Instagram and just your awesome posts, edits. Yeah, like just enjoy the day and the new year for you.
Thank you so much, and you too. I wish you the best year ever, and that I wish you all the good things, success, and a lot of happiness too, and
Thank you,
many good moments with friends and family too.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm
You're
looking
welcome.
forward to that too. Yeah. Okay, so last week we tried to talk about a lot of books. We did cover a lot of grounds, but we had so much to talk about still, right?
Yeah, I remember we talked more about like the first half of the topics
Yeah,
about like
yeah,
the thoughts about the books, but not
yeah,
the actual book content yet, like the ones that are currently being released.
yeah, exactly. Like we just touched everything, like slowly, like the love interest part, yeah, and we also at the end talked about like top five love interests.
Yeah, I love that. I love hearing about the love interests that Choices fans like. It's fun to
Yeah,
me to hear about it and to hear why they like the love of interest too.
yeah. I always like hearing about others' opinion about who they like and why they like them. And sometimes it's like like maybe I didn't see it from a certain perspective, and they can make me see that way, so to speak, like change my mind.
That's a very good point. I've actually seen that too. Even just recently, like there's a love interest from Bloodbound, Lily, who I do like her, but I never really thought of her more than like the best friend in the series. But after hearing some Lily fans talk about her, I started to see that she's really amazing, and I'm thinking of doing a replay where I do romance her instead of just Camila.
Oh, is it our best friend Lily?
Yes, yeah, Lily.
Oh yeah, yeah, she's nice. Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's
that's like
always
the one
fun.
example. That's the one example of like what you were just saying about that. It's very true. I love hearing everyone's opinions. It's very fun and to even just have the discussions about choices in general.
Hmm. I would totally agree with that. Totally. Okay, so before we start talking about the new books, I also have this question. Like, I'm just weird this way because I like to do some experiments with choices, or like keep weird, datas or stat about choices. So I have asked others this question. Like, how do you like when you read for yourself? Okay, like then how do you read it? Like, do you read it in your mind or do you read it out loud? Or like do you read certain part out loud or do you just read your main character's part out loud? Like how do you do it?
That's a really, really good question that no one has asked me before. I really like that. So I'll tell you how. I can see how some people would probably like to read the books out loud. That would be like a really good idea. But what I do personally is that I read the book in my mind. Like I'll read. It's like reading aloud, but in my mind. So you won't hear me read it, but that's the way that I do because it helps me to process the story the most.
I know. Yeah, I know that because I when I first came around choices, I I used to read it out loud because I was never really. I mean, even like when I used to read my textbooks or any storybook, like binders or whatever, I never used to read them, in my mind. I always would read them out loud. So choices, I used to read them out loud, and certain times with certain characters, I try to change the voice or the music. But recently, as there are lots of books in choices, and I also play one or two other apps, and it's just kind of all crunched. So you're right. Like if you read it in your mind, I think you can process a lot of information. So what I do, I would like I will read the rest of the part and other characters' dialogues in my mind, and maybe if I have I like a certain main character, then I would read that part out loud and with the music on, and it always feels like like there's a series going on, and maybe I am really there. So it feels personal to me, like wow, this is actually happening, and I'm part of that. So I was just thinking like. I'm like this is really weird, but I really feel connected to the story. Maybe I'm actually there, like in that island, or I'm really with the captains. It just feels really awesome, Like it feels like it's true. It's it's come to life, and it's just not some fictional characters. So yeah, that's why I asked, like, how do you read it?
Wow, I could just feel how it really elevates the experience for you just from how you were describing it. There are some moments where I do read the dialogue out loud. Like it'll be usually something that a character is saying, and it wouldn't be the main character's thoughts. I usually don't read that aloud, but if I do read something, it will be like the dialogue that I
Yeah,
find.
exactly, same. Yeah, and sometimes also
And
like yeah, go on.
oh no, you're fine.
I don't know. Yeah, I was just gonna say finish that. Sometimes if like the description is, super interesting, then I would read it out loud. Like not a normal description, like he's, coming behind you or they're coming behind you. Not that like, like if this contains a good literary piece, then like if it's talking about a natural beauty with the good music, then I would just read it out loud, like with the music. It just feels good. And also with certain characters, I would read out loud. For instance, like I really like this character, like John from the Unexpected Heiress. So I would read the rest of the part in my mind, and whenever with John, I'll be reading his part out loud. I really liked, the character he is, and I really like it. So I feel more connected to it in that way. Yeah, and it's just and also just to finish that. I don't know. I think we talked about My Two First Loves, but we didn't talk about this. I think My Two First Loves and Save the Date are the only two books in choices that are written in first person, like the main character is talking. So it's just I love those kind of books, like those POVs. So in that case, I would even read out loud, the descriptions. That it feels like I'm watching a movie, because in movie trailers or with the movie stars, they go like, oh yeah, I'm the live. So I feel it's more connecting than like saying, if someone, like it's a third person description, like he's coming, then it's just I hope you understand what I mean.
I do actually. It would be really nice to see more books that are written in first person too. Because I can tell like my first two loves did feel different when I was reading it. It felt very personal, along the lines of like what you were saying. I didn't really think about that before too, but now that you say it, it does make sense actually.
Yeah, and
I
also, yeah, go on.
oh no, you're fine.
No, I was
I
just
was
gonna yeah, I was just gonna finish on that. Like also in the context of like Mtfl, it felt so awesome. Like like we talked about last time. Like it's about the main character going about her sexuality or her life and race and everything. So it also made sense. Like we were more emotionally connected to her through that first person writing. Like it's really what's going on inside of her.
yeah, and I so like basically for the whole year last year and even this year, I spent a lot of time with Choices fans talking about the books. And it felt like some of the opinions that were pretty common for the My First Two Loves main character was that they thought she was annoying because she had trouble choosing who she liked. But that was kind of part of the actual series itself, because she was trying to find out more about herself. And I really appreciated that whole journey because I think it's very, very realistic for someone that's in high school. Of course, they're going to be very indecisive about who they want to date, especially if there's more than one person that they're considering. It makes like perfect sense to me that she would be like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Also, like, given how the society is and how some, some facts are like conventional things, like, you gotta, if you're a boy, you gotta like a boy, or if you're a girl, you gotta like a girl, or just, if you're a girl, you need to dress in a certain way, or some stuff like that still exists. So I would say, like finding your, like, what you like it can be, maybe there's a hot, guy in your school and everybody talks about it, and then you can be influenced to like that, but maybe you don't like them, really, like, truly from the inside of your heart. That's exactly what happens with Ava, our love interest. Like, she didn't like the boy next door, but it was more like, a fling. Like, she got, she just went with the flow. But when she looked deeper, she saw, like, this is not where her heart truly is, but it's about finding out. I would say that journey was really interesting, and you get to, that's a representation, and also you get to, learn a lot about how these things go. Even if you have personally not felt it, or went, you haven't gone through that, then it's just, it's good to witness that. I liked it pretty much how they did with all the characters, and it's just not about the sexuality, but everything they went through, right? So I would agree with you, like, it was pretty significant.
I know exactly. When it comes to the character development with Ava, I also it still stays in my mind very clearly because not many books will have good representation like that because it's very difficult for people to actually come to terms with who they are. It takes time, and I can also like really feel for Ava when she had that issue because you just go with the flow in life and you just do what other people would like you to do, or you see this person who people think you like and you're just, and then you think and you convince yourself that you like that person, but then in reality you may not really like them as much as you think, and that may be because you're suppressing a part of yourself. So that's something that's so common in the world too, especially like with the like LGBT community and taking time to actually become the real you. That's why I really, really loved that storyline in My First Two Loves. It's very important, and I would love to see something like that explored more in a future book.
Of course. I mean, like I said, I think they have a book like that coming out, like, representation, which, let's see how that works out. But yeah, I would love to see more about that. And needless to say, like, as we're talking about that, like, that is many reasons why that book is, a really good book. One of many reasons, not like few reasons. So that also is really good because it tackles a lot of issues. We talked about some in the last conversations, and now look, we still are talking about some more. We are adding some more. So yeah.
That book was very, very mature for a high school book, but it was done very well. I know some people probably don't think that. Well, like when you're older, you're no longer a teenager. People would think that the book would be a little bit more innocent or lighthearted, but high school is not like that. Actually, it's very different for people, and sometimes there are going to be very adult things that high schoolers will deal with in their life. So I thought it was a perfect book in that way. It was also chaotic, which makes so much sense because the main character, well, I'm referring to the main character when I say chaotic because she's, there was a lot of indecisiveness. I think it is perfect for a teenager. It made a lot of sense to me. So I just felt when I was reading the book that not only did I feel a personal connection to it, and especially like what Ava was going through, but I felt that the high schooler that was in the series was very realistic and that all of her feelings make a lot of sense for the type of situation she's in, especially as someone who is trying to discover themselves too. There's a lot of emotion and like turmoil while that's happening. But then obviously later it gets better.
I would agree. And it's not like you said, it's not unrealistic because and it's hard. Like, you can't point a finger. You can't say just like she is undecisive because when someone is going through that, it's like it's hard. Like I didn't watch, like I watched the trailer and some scenes of this movie called I always thought like the movie and this book had a lot in common. To all the boys I loved before. So there is a line like the main character says, quote, I thought the idea of having a boyfriend meant all the idea of other boys leaving your mind, but that was not the case. So I think it's just happens like it's not like you are cheating on them, but it just you care about them, but you maybe care about them too, and it's hard at some point. But I would say the way they ended it, like after choosing someone, you get to properly close with others. Like you're not just dumping them and leaving them. So I really like that part. And yeah, it happens. It happens more than you can think. Like this kind of, and specifically when you're a teenager, like you said, and it was innocent. It was not like MC, like how any brat will do that. Just cheating on them or did not inform. Like she didn't even disclose her feelings until the end chapter. Said I got with this particular person. I think, which is pretty fine.
I know. I think of so because I actually didn't read that much of the other high school setting series in Choices, except I did read With Every Heartbeat, which was in high school, and I loved it. But this one was also like the second high school related book that I read, and I think of it as a masterpiece just because it felt like the series was running for so long, even though each chapter was a little short. It felt like I really made a connection with these characters. It felt like to me that Noah, Mason, and Ava were my friends. I felt like the main character, honestly, in that series. Obviously, because of the way it was written, it helps that too. And I think it's really interesting that you say that the movie that you watched was pretty similar to it. I don't know why, but so although I didn't watch it, I had a feeling that it would probably be similar to the book in some way. I believe there was another Choices fan who also made that connection to that book.
Yeah, I mean, there's yeah, except like you get three love interests and you get to choose your love interest gender. I mean, more or less, like the concept wise, yeah, it's kind of IC wise similar to that. Yeah.
And then you also brought up a point about how the despite having like the adult issues, that it was all done very innocently. I agree with that completely.
Yep.
In my opinion, I don't see that the main character had any bad intentions. She's
Nope.
not like the manipulative type of person. She doesn't have bad plans for people. She just genuinely liked multiple people, and it took her, many chapters to understand more and more and see where her heart really does lie. I thought it was a very hard journey too, but I appreciated it so much. That book I will probably definitely be replaying soon too because I do miss it.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I always do. Like, I have started 4 or 5 times the first 5 chapters, and then gone back to the start because I like the like start how it is, and then yeah, I would definitely like to go through it. But it was interesting. I actually read it twice, kind of, because I was in chapter 6 to 7 when I lost my progress, so I had to restart it again when it came back for the third time from Heiress. So yeah, it's really fun. I didn't get bored also because the chapter lengths are short, and like we said last day that it was releasing daily, so didn't think much of about the 100 chapters. It felt like short because we were getting each one chapter every day.
Yeah, and I still remember that time. It felt like a really nice thing to look forward to every day. I believe I said that the last episode, but I really did love the daily release, and I know that's not being done right now. But if there is a upcoming work that's going to be released daily and is also a short episode format, I am going to be all for that.
Yeah, 100%. I would love that too. Sure.
I have a feeling it would probably. I mean, it might take a lot of effort for the Pixelberry team to release to release a series every day. So I still appreciate all the work they do. I know they have a lot on their plate, but if they can come up with a daily release book, I would be so happy with that. Because, every week we all have so much to do in our lives, but then when it comes to choices, it's a really good time to forget anything else that's happening. It's a good positive distraction for you. So having that every single day, when that book was being released, that made me even happier.
I know.
It added a lot more joy just because I genuinely enjoyed that series too.
I know. Exactly. I mean, when it releases every week, you kind of forget where you started from, and also, like you said, like if it's like you need 30 minutes to read it, and it's kind of hard to read it, if you have lots of work to do. But if you're getting it daily, like 5 chapters, maybe you need 10 minutes, so you can just find, like a time every day to read it for 10 minutes, so you can just do every 3 days for like if you find a quiet time, like you can get a time out of your schedule and you can read the 3 chapters, then 3 more days later 3 more chapters. I think you can just do all sorts of things with daily releasing books. I would say that maybe Choices perhaps did an experiment with that, and I don't think they're going to do that a thing for all the books in anytime soon. I think weekly thing is still going to be there, but yeah, they can add some books like My Two First Loves, daily releasing books, and short books like that. I would also really love that. Let's see. And I hope like those books are gonna be like My Two First Loves, which is multidimensional, like tackles a lot of issues and it has more to the story, character developments. Like, let's see what happens.
Yeah, it seems across like the board for all of the visual novel apps that there's the weekly release chapter as a standard. Also because they have a lot of work to do, I'm assuming. But it would be nice, like you said, to see a series similar to My First Two Loves that has that discovery aspect, maybe even written in first person again as a daily release. I mean, as much as they can do, because that to me stands out. That book to me is more, it's very unique in the way that it was made, released, and written, apart from the other books. So if that was something that was to be done again, when I first played My First Two Loves, I didn't really take a lot of the premium options, but later on in the series, I started to take more of them because I appreciated the book more and more. It made me realize, that I actually wanted to see these characters. I actually
Yeah.
cared about what happened to Mason,
Same.
Noah, and Ava.
Same. Yeah. I mean, they can do it like twice. Every 2 year, they can do like a daily releasing book like My Two First Loves. And that is really a thing. So they get a break also of 2 years in between, and then or maybe 1.5 year. They can plan a calendar schedule like that. That'd be appreciated. And I know, like when I fell in love with the book, when it was coming out, I thought like I really, first of all, I really like all the high school movies and like the all the high school books and Choices. I have read it, and I think I told you like the Happy Women in Dreams Zone was also my one of the favorite books because it contained a lot of high school drama. So when I saw like this book was a high school book, and I think a lot of characters there were from the original high school trilogy, though they had different names that I found out later. But I was hyped up about this, but then I thought, like, oh, it's going to be gender locked. Maybe it's not going to be that interesting. It's just going to be another romance novel. Then I just started playing it, and then the background music, which I really like, the main character in their bed, and the way the first person description goes on, and from there I saw the boy next door, and the story plot. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to play every day, and it was super interesting. I restarted the book 4 or 5 times because I had made the wrong choices, or I had made the wrong Mason, Noah, or Ava. I picked them wrong, so I wanted to just be on board with like what is really going to work for me for this book. So I was really invested in this book. I remember when it released last year.
Now that you say that, I remember how the first few chapters were very memorable, especially the way that you got to meet Noah first. It was while the main character was getting harassed. I thought it was so
Someone says
weird
that.
how that happened. And then he like ended up, showing like only a few moments later. That to me is also a very memorable character introduction. And especially like with him being known as like a, that's I can see why you would read those chapters, the first few chapters, multiple times. I I also plan to do that too because I remember how special the first few chapters were as well. However, later on in the series, it kind of seemed more like things were stagnant. But again, that does still make sense, because there's obviously a lot of the emotions going on and a lot of thinking and still being on the journey to discovery. But it felt like at some points in the series, it was very stagnant. But I'm not saying that in a bad way. And then obviously towards the later in the series, when the main character needs to realize that she has to pick her love and that the others don't want to wait longer, we obviously see like a shift in how serious the story gets. But that was something I also noticed how it felt as though it was a little slower like in the middle of the series. It took a while to get everything started, especially with the scandal in the book too. But because of that, it felt like it gave us enough time to actually, prepare ourselves for the craziness that happened later on.
I think it did have like a lot of, we had Lauren, who like we thought as an antagonist, but then we dealt with some other issues. We dealt with Noah and Mason's past. We dealt with Mr. Jennings. By the way, Choices is really going after the Jennings surname. They're always the bad guys.
I did not think about that, but you're right. That's so true. Like from the unexpected Heiress and even this book, there's many names that app that are reused, and they tend to also. So now that you're saying that the name Jennings was also used for certain characters that were very, not very good characters or characters that had evil intentions, and then it even also seems that the type of the character art or the certain like character avatar that they use, sometimes they associate that with a certain type of character that's going to be distrustful or not trustworthy, for example. That's something I would say for an example as the character Robin, for example, because he was basically shown as like a sketchy character in several other books. So,
but the female one is also limitless, right?
She is, the funny part about that is I think she's originally a character from, I might be wrong, but she looks like one of the It Lives in the Woods character,
You're right.
one of the mean girls.
Recycled Brittany, who was with Lily, I think, the nice girl, the gamer girl.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I do think she's actually from the same character model too. And at first when I saw her, because I was playing the nanny affair, I didn't know what to think about her because I did not like Brittany. I do not like high school bullies, so she was a character that I just didn't have a lot of sympathy for at first, but I thought it was really cute to see how she had a soft spot in her heart for one of the main character's friends, at least. So she's not all evil. She still has feelings and she still has love for other people. It seemed like because she had some relentless bullying moments that was sometimes, that made me not really like her as a character, but I don't think she's that bad overall, especially because she was willing to take a chance on a romance that was probably going to be looked down on by many people, especially because of same gender and even because of different like social class in that high school. So we don't see that character reused as much as the male Robin is, though. But she is in the Laws of Attraction book, though, as another lawyer. And I loved seeing her there. That worked out very well.
I think people liked Robin a lot, so they just gave her as a fling there because, but I also thought like a lot of people said in Laws of Attraction, Tyler, the firefighter guy, like I usually don't go for the male love interest, but I gotta say like how he was not the main love interest. Like wow, he does look like a love interest material, but he was the fling. That was shocking because yeah, Robin is a reused model, but that character looked really like someone who had the potential to be a good love interest, and a lot of people liked him.
Oh, I actually did not realize that. But what you're saying about love interest material, normally when I also think about that, I refer to appearance and how much effort they put into the character design and even like the clothes that they're wearing. Usually as a standard, Pixelberry likes to put more effort into the love interest, which makes sense anyway. And it felt like they did put a lot of effort into Tyler. So I'm also a bit surprised that he's not one of the love interests, especially because we only have two main love interests in that story. So I think it would have been nice if they offered him as an option. And that now that you bring that up, I didn't think about that previously as much, but I do love interest material. I don't believe I took his scene, but I did still like interacting with his character. And immediately, like when I saw him, I was like, okay, I think this is probably one of the love interests. But I realized
Yes,
later, I was like, okay, not really, and that he was just like the
that
side
was
thing.
shocking. Yeah, same. Because I really don't think like he's like like how they choices would definitely design a love interest like you know all the qualities he had. Also like a firefighter, kind guy. Yeah, Robin's model like Lena Reyes, she was reused a lot of times, but that was I think the first time we saw them. Yeah, but potentially also there could be a love interest in book two because there is a book two. So who knows? Maybe Lena Reyes can also be a love interest. So potential for love interest. I mean, I wouldn't say no to that because I like the lawyer. Like we both would be lawyers, and Lena is kind of like I would like that.
Yeah, she's a very fiery type of lawyer, like a very vivacious personality. I liked her, and it's so funny how we get introduced to her in a court case where she ends up, getting beat in the courtroom by the main character. I thought that was pretty funny, but then instead of being salty about it, she was very impressed and wanted to spend the night, and I loved that.
Yeah, that was
She's
really good.
great. I would love to see her in the second book too. If she is in the second book, I will definitely take her scenes.
Definitely. I mean, that would be good. I mean, Tyler for sure. I mean, I can understand some people would be really sad. Like, if he becomes a love interest, then those people will be really happy because I understand. And also, I think just to maintain the balance, it only makes sense that, Robin's model also becomes a love interest. But I think there are lots of people who wanted to romance the female Robin in the nanny affair.
Yeah, actually, me too. Because even though she's portrayed as a more like a sillier type of character than Sam is, and that she's not as serious as Sam, I still thought she was really good as a character, and she was real. So instead of being like Sophia, who hides her feelings and her intentions and says one thing but means another, Robin was more direct, and I thought she was actually pretty funny too. So she would have been a really good option, but the only reason why I think she would not be an official love interest is just because Choices tends to avoid making side characters into love interests. They tend to avoid doing that, but I don't know. They can still end up breaking that rule somehow. But personally, I think that for Laws of Attraction book two, that they probably won't make her a love interest. But if they do make someone a love interest, they would probably make Tyler one because he seems to be love
Super
interest
popular.
material.
Yeah, exactly.
Even just as like his appearance, like it looks like they took a lot of effort
Yeah, a
um,
lot of.
into him. So if they do add a third love interest, that would be great. The only thing is, the problem with choices that they have sometimes is that the balance between the opportunities for romance between the male and female love interest, and sometimes it's lacking when it comes to the female love interest, meaning we might not get as much time. So with Ashlyn, I thought she was wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and I did not know if I would like her at first because she seemed a bit quiet
Exactly.
and not very expressive, but later on she became one of my favorites. However, she obviously doesn't get as many scenes as Gabe does,
Never.
which is expected because Pixelberry does predict that the male love
Boss.
interest will have more fans, so it's to their advantage to do that. Unfortunately, but I still do like to see that Pixelberry makes an attempt to make it like more equal.
Yeah, I know.
But
I
then,
mean, yeah, yeah. Go on.
sure. So then when they do add Tyler as a love interest, I have a worry that they might sideline Ashlyn if they do that because in several other books when you have like three love interests and one of them being a woman, that tends to be a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
So it would be cool if they add him as a love interest, but I hope that they don't take away from Ashlyn at the
No,
same
I don't
time.
think. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen because if she's the only love interest, yeah. But if if they add another female love interest, then there can be like really crunch. It's not proper time. But yeah. But also, I mean, I have just heard like a lot of fans are also like they talked about Bo being a love interest. Like they said, maybe they were really impressed by his character, and they're saying, is it possible? I saw like a lot of people talking about that. That like it seems like a lot of materials are there in that book.
I did not really think about that before. I know that during the series we got a choice to see whether or not we wanted to be friends with Bo, and I chose to definitely become friends with him because I think he's a valuable character.
Yeah,
He
really.
seemed like the spoiled type that was able to get that job, maybe related to Sadie, but he wasn't that bad. Later on, I saw that he's like a very meaningful person. He's thoughtful. He, he's on the same side as us. So I really do appreciate as a character like that. I I think it would be cool if they do make him a love interest. But if they were to make any of the characters a love interest, they would probably make Tyler one. That's my guess.
I guess that's yours. It's probably like you said. They put a lot of effort in Tyler, and just for a side character, they didn't do that.
But it seems like they also did put a lot of effort in Bo as well. So that's why it makes sense that people would say that too. As far as I know, he doesn't look like he was reused as a character model, right?
No,
I can't remember anyone who looks
no,
like
no,
Bo.
no one was. I mean, Martin and Gigi, they were fairly new too, right? So I haven't read much books.
Hmm. I think that is a very good question. I don't know if I don't think that Martin is a new character. I believe he was a character that was in a very scandalous proposal. I think he was one of the characters there that were friends with Ava or Ava or Simon.
Tommy,
Did you finish that book or
I did. I did. Only like kind of got off the track, but just those letters from the past, they for like the finale, like that was that was the one of the most interesting things about that book, a very scandalous proposal. And now I'm glad I finished that book and I collected all the letters.
Yeah, that book started off very, very slowly. At one point, I kind of got bored with it, but then after a certain number of chapters, everything started to pick up very quickly, and I started to actually enjoy it. And it's a very heartwarming book for me in that sense. I do love the outfits that they had too. Obviously they were like the elegant type of outfits, but those stood out to me a lot. I thought that they were very beautiful, and that you got to choose an outfit for Ava or Simon, whoever you were romancing. I thought that was very cute too.
Yeah,
And I think so, yeah. But I do think he was one of the characters in that in that book. But I might be wrong though. I have a feeling that he was used as one of the characters, as one of the friends in that book.
yeah. I don't remember the characters, that much profound, but I think you could be right since his face does seem similar. And yeah, I mean, in a very scandalous proposal, the scenes we had with our love interest, those scenes were really awesome. Like some scenes were just walking in London street, it's raining, or just we're just stealing some moment in the balcony, and just to think that you are playing fake and then suddenly you fall in love. I like that kind of genre.
I think it's so funny because it's so common too. It's a very common storyline, but obviously it was done well anyway because so many people, so many Choices fans ended up loving this book. To me, I put Choices books in different categories in my mind based on like the quality and the storyline and how exciting it is to read the book. And to me, A Very Scandalous Proposal is like a solid book or a good book. So it turned out very well and had a very good reception, just based on like the people that I'm around and the people that I talk to. So I can't speak like for all Choices fans, but it did seem like this was a book that a lot of people thought was wonderful, especially romance wise too. It definitely was not very heavy when it comes to like the steamy scenes either. There wasn't really a lot of that. It was mostly just kind of like getting to know each other and going through a hardship together. So that alone makes it feel like you become more bonded to the character or the love interest.
I agree with that. It was like the relaxing book, like nice book, like it's just heartwarming book, like nothing like too strong going on, or in any case, or like it's not too steamy like you say, not like a too dense of a plot, like it would keep on your toes, like what happens next. It's just it has one certain plot, you know what's gonna happen, and throughout all the chapters you just work for that particular, like how you actually fall in love with your love interest and how you get the culprit out. I think it's pretty like also when it released in the VIPs, I think it was a good book.
Yeah, I ended up enjoying it so much. The second half of the book, the very big shock that was like at the end and everything like that. It ended up being a really sweet book, and then we even had like the side romance between two of the side characters that I thought was very, very adorable.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And also those letters from between Gemma's husband and Moira, I think.
Oh, Gemma Montjoy. I know it's funny how I read that book before I read The Unexpected Heiress, so
Yeah,
it was
that's
kind
how
of weird to see it.
they wrote it. Like at first, it was okay, and then after that, yeah, yes, and they connected to each other.
Yeah, I do think that makes sense too. It does feel like that book would have to be read first because you have context in that book specifically about Gemma's marriage, where in the other books, although she talks about it, it's not really in depth at all.
Yeah. exactly.
So it worked out very well in that way.
And you also see from Moira and Gemma's husband's point of view, like how their affair was and how he was forced into the marriage even though he loved someone else and he had a son there, Ollie, I think. It was good, like the old times, how we get a glimpse of that before playing The Unexpected Heiress. So, like a thriller, I really like that.
Yeah, the those scenes where you get transported to an earlier time, I loved seeing that too. There was like a bit of a history side plot there that I really enjoyed too. And even though some people will view not Ava Montjoy, Gemma Montjoy's ex-husband as a bad character for cheating, technically, I still think that he and Moira had like a very beautiful relationship.
Of course. I also think that too. I think so. He wasn't really abusive or didn't force his choices down, Gemma's throat because like he could have had multiple relationships, but he was staying true to his lover, which was uh, which was Moira. So that was something really special in the context of old days, like 100 years ago from now. I like that part about it.
Yeah, exactly. So even though he strayed away from his, official marriage, he still did have a lot of devotion for someone. So that's what matters the most. Although unfortunately, it leaves Gemma Montoy behind, but she ends up, having a good life anyway. So, and that's what, well, you would see that when you finally, read The Unexpected Heiress, though.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of respect for their relationship because they were willing to risk a lot to be together, even though it was more of a private affair. And I can't really, so I believe at the end of the series when we get more of the letters from them, they say that in The Unexpected Heiress that was it Thomas Montjoy? Yeah, Thomas Montjoy, that he passed away, but that it's possible that he just ran away to be with his love.
No, like I really didn't get the ending of A Very Scandalous Proposal. Like, it said they will Moira and Thomas. They will just after securing Ollie's future and giving Gemma the fortune of the Barrington and everything. They will go and live their life. But then Moira says like we will after you die, and then we see like they're dead. Like what is like I didn't get the ending. Like are they alive or are they dead? Or they fake the dead? Like what was the really what went down really? What do you think? I really didn't get that.
Yeah, I know that was something that was a bit of a mystery for me too. I don't fully understand, but I have a feeling, just a guess, is that they ran away and faked their deaths so that they could be together. But it ends up meaning that because he runs away, then he wouldn't be able to maintain the lifestyle that he had before. So I think it would make sense to me that based on how strong the relationship was, that he would not actually die. I mean, unless something happened to him, but that instead he has a plan to escape and fake the death so that he can live freely with his partner. That's what I think happened. But again, the way it was written, like at the end and stuff like that, it makes me kind of question because it was a bit confusing. There wasn't a really definite answer. But all I know is that in the other book, Gemma thinks that they are dead, or that Tom is dead. So maybe I'm not really sure. I'm wondering if it is that he actually is faking the death, if Gemma knows that too, and that they all made that plan together to take in Ollie with her. That to me is a mystery. We might never really know the full details.
Yeah, even though if we are gonna be able to solve Amelia's murder mystery, we will never solve this mystery that Choices is going to leave us with. Yeah, that was. I think they did it on purpose.
Yeah, I know. They wanted to keep us on our toes, guessing and really trying to find out what could have happened based on every detail they were given to us. That's so true, though, because it's not even just the mystery of Amelia Hughes, even the mystery of Thomas Montoy. That's just another mystery that we have in the background that I still do wonder about and I'm still curious about as well.
Same. That's it. But yeah, I mean, so we said like we're gonna talk about the recent books. So the unexpected errors. I know you're caught up with chapter 14. Two more chapters to go, and I think I just commented and we were talking about there under your video that Vincent, he is probably the killer, but I think he's not. I have a nagging feeling. It was just like when we caught Nicolay or someone in the or Margaret, yeah, Margaret and the others in Walls. We threw them in prison in the Veil of Secrets, and then Duffy came up with a smile and like, hey, I'm the real dude. So I think that can still happen. Like, yeah, Vincent, I can't quite come to terms with. What do you think so far?
Hmm. I love how you brought up A Veil of Secrets. That one was such a big plot twist. And the smile that what was his name? I think it was Taylor, but his real name was something else.
Duffy?
I think it was Taylor Acosta, like his real name, and then his the name that he went by with everyone else was Duffy. He was like that character that was being pushed around all the time at the beginning, and then he ends up, being evil, and his smile is like nightmare material. That smile is just. I thought it was very creepy, but in terms of like that plot twist being in The Unexpected Heiress, I don't know if I would describe it as a plot twist, and I also don't want to reveal anything, but all I know is that Vincent should not be discounted. So he is still definitely a very important part, and he is possibly also, possibly the killer if you think about it. So he's definitely at fault. So that's why I think at this point, near the end of the book, where now they're focusing on him and Worthington, they did finally get close to solving the mystery, because it's basically that whole group of people that are rotten. Him, Jennings, Worthington, and maybe even the other whoever else is in his circle, maybe at the gentleman's club that they were part of. So that's the only thing I'll say is it's the people he keeps around him that are also the problem, and his behavior too. So
Yeah, go on.
so I know you're saying that you don't think that Vincent is the killer, because the way that he was denying the accusations that were thrown against him would make it seem like he wasn't the killer either. But who knows, because he was lying about a lot of other stuff too. So because he's already hiding very important things from others and trying to keep his reputation, it could be possible that it's not him, but he seems to be tied very strongly to what's happening.
I mean, I remember Vincent was like when we're having this on like Lady Gemma's after the cricket match. I think we were having we're like at the dinner table, and we're talking about India and like America, and like how the Genix and the ambassador, they were coming after main character and her heritage, and John was visibly angry. But then when they're talking about the policy, some Dalhousie something, and then suddenly Vincent snapped back like, you don't get to decide about the ruling policy in others' land. the land that's not yours, so you can't dictate that. So when our main character sort of got support from him, and I thought maybe he was for real, and but well, that's a twist. But then again, whenever they make, like, Vincent was, for a character, he was way too handsome and like a, not like an average sort of how do I put it, like not a recycled character. So I he gotta have something to do with it, because generally the characters that look good but not love interest, they're the ones that are sometimes the problems. So here's Vincent.
That's funny that you say that. I think that 100% too. When you see a side character that's completely new, the design is completely new, and that they look like a lot of effort has been put into their design and how they look, and that they're receiving some screen time, it means you might have to look out for that character because they might have something bad going on. That's so true though. Whenever you see that, sometimes it ends up being like just the recycled side characters that are a problem in the series, but also those side characters that have new designs that are obviously also very good looking, that could also be a problem later on in the series. And it was also interesting how there's like a contrast that he's surrounding himself with traditional people like Jennings and Worthington, but at the same time he also believes that a country should be able to rule itself, and that we can't possibly know how to rule or take care of another nation better than the people who actually live there. That was something also that was a nice touch to his character itself, and the fact that he didn't support the views that his friends had. So I thought that was really interesting too. But then he stands out in a lot of other ways because he also has the gambling problem
Affair.
yeah, and that he may have had a little bit too much whiskey or whatever drink that was, or alcohol from that party. Yeah, so he's the more careless type.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting. And also, they were really excited to hold our main character's wedding in their place. And Amelia clearly bothered him a lot, because in that letter he also wrote, like, the problem is taken care of. So, yeah. Sorry, excuse me. So I see why, well, it could be Vincent. But like I said, like, maybe 2 chapters left. It's too early. Maybe there's a partner of Vincent. Who knows? Like, I just think, like, knowing choices, how they did It Lives Beneath. Who knew Grandpa would be? Like I said, Grandpa is the one who actually killed our mom. Then you get to know. No, it's not. And like, twist after twist. The choices usually do plan that. That's why this time I'm not just right now ready to believe that it's Vincent. But yeah, let's see what happens.
It's all I'll say is it's very complicated, and that Vincent is that he's still involved, and it's a very complicated ending. But you'll be shocked, and I do hope that you enjoy it as much as I did. I really enjoyed the ending, and I was still processing it later because I was just like this. The way everything came to be, that was also what surprised me.
Yeah, 2 more weeks. I would love to see.
Yeah, we're almost done with this book. I love it. I think this was the second, the third playthrough I had. I truly enjoy the unexpected errors. It's just so much fun. The mystery aspect is my number one favorite.
Totally. Like, I don't like much books like this, but this one, like, really, like, whenever I knew they were going to do a mystery, I knew they would do a really awesome job. And just not about the mystery, but like we're talking about a lot of things, how they represent, the British Empire, racism, sexism, and the protests, women's suffrage, a lot of things. Like, it's just even, you can learn a lot of history from here too. I just love that about this book.
Yeah, the educational part of it too was something that I was very happy to see. Just because every day in my normal life, just going on about my day, I don't usually think about like the historical origins of movements. So I was happy to see that being mentioned in this book, and to be able to see like a snapshot of how this country was at that time when it comes to women's rights, and what the women were doing to try and change that situation.
And also, they did put a lot of research. Even though I think they can have some improvements because they got some cities named because the modern names specifically, some Indian cities they named some modern names, but I know like they did have some different names in the old times, and think something related to England also they used the modern thing. But I was just surprised because they really went so deep with their research that those things I thought maybe they would also go with the old names. But anyway, like this was impressive how deep they went and how they researched every single detail in this book.
Yeah, I just see that there was so much effort in the book, the background research for the time period that we were in. And the one thing that really also stood out to me was, remember when John said that he lost his partner in the Titanic?
Oh
I
yeah.
Yeah, like whenever I hear that word, I just think of the movie, and I don't even really know about the actual um, tragic event that happened. But I thought it was just really cool to see that he mentioned it, and it made me think about how it helps you piece the timeline together better. That it happened around that time period where there was also the women's suffragette movement, and that the protests, and how there were still British control over India, all of that. I didn't even realize that those were all kind of connected in terms of the storyline, the timeline.
It was really fun. The old times, like how phones were at that time, cars, and all the elites, how they enjoyed their pastime and all those games, and those things, and even they bring a lot of games like cricket and poker, and I really enjoy like there's like a lot in this book than just a mystery, which is super interesting.
Yeah, I know, and they have the more lighthearted moments at the beginning. The game, I think it was called Coconut Shy, that you got to play with John. I thought that was funny. And then we have the cricket match that comes later on, and then even the grouse shoot or hunt too was also very interesting moment. And poker, yeah. So there was a lot of games in that book, which I think makes a lot of sense. They didn't have smartphones, so they didn't have people on their phone like playing apps, or I mean, going on apps and playing games. So it must have been so different. Where those games together are a lot more significant at that time. Not that I'm saying that they shouldn't be now. They still have their place today too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this was very interesting. Yeah, also like the imposter game to just diffuse the tension at the dinner table. I mean, you can just steal that. Like if you ever go to like a place that's really getting heated up with conversation, so you can just calm down. Like you don't have console, you don't want to go to ground, but just on the dinner table you can play some games and like cool down the mood. So in that case, I think this is a really interesting book.
Yeah, I know. I like that too. Actually, it shows you how Gemma is a master at manipulation, and that she's very good at knowing how to read the social situation and how to move it forward to another direction, a more favorable direction. So that was a really nice touch to that series too. Obviously, seeing how Gemma is very charismatic as well, very sociable, and I did like that scene a lot too. I would love to even in real life. I think it would be so cool to play a game like that too. There's like so many other social games that people play when they hang out together, but not as much imposter. But I think that would be a very good idea. Like I would like to try that one day maybe.
Yeah, maybe we can try some with some choices characters at the end.
Yes, that would be really cool actually.
Yeah, yeah. Like I like so many things from this book, and I'm just glad they released it. And now it's also about the murder mystery and like also about the marriage. Because I think in Veil of Secrets, the love life of our main character wasn't much of a priority. Like, yeah, we did have some scenes with the love interest, but we didn't get much time with them, like marriage or something. But in this book, we actually get to do that. I think that's just a cherry on the top.
It really is. That's like the perfect way to describe it. You know how it was at the very end. That was like a perfect ending to that too. Because in a lot of books we have marriage scenes, but in this one you finally got that.
Yeah, I still think that Kate should have been made a love interest a bit earlier, or maybe if we had just a bit more glimpse of the future with Kate, or one more chapter, because she was made love interest right at the end. But I liked Naomi, but Kate, that was really unexpected, and I played it actually twice. The last chapter, the Naomi route and Kate route. So yeah, let's hope like this is super interesting what they're doing with the unexpected Heiress. They're giving the love life of our main character some special touch too at the end.
I did not play a Kate route yet, but I've heard a lot of other Choices fans say that they thought that she was meant to be like the true love interest.
Yeah,
I really like the appeal that the film has, that he's an officer. I do love women in uniform too, so the she definitely stood out that way.
yeah. Naomi was really awesome. Like when I first played, I didn't realize at first like Naomi was going to be a love interest. Actually, I didn't realize like anyone was a love interest until we get the option to like where's a heart sign. Because they asked me like who, like when Chief Walls was not listening to us, he was like, who do you ask for help? And I looked at Naomi and I thought, oh, she's probably just a really angry someone, and she's probably gonna turn us down. Definitely looked like he could help us. I asked for help from him, but it was not much of a help. But then we get the scene with Naomi. Then I came to know, okay, he's a love interest. Then we get to Flynn. Okay, that's a love interest. So it was really interesting, like how they did. Like until they said like they're a love interest, I didn't even realize like the three were love interests: Flynn, Grant, and Naomi.
Yeah, that's really interesting too, because in that book they did a really good job of kind of hiding the fact that they are love interests. They didn't let you know that really quickly. So I like that element of mystery where you don't know who you're really to be romancing yet. That's something that I would like to see more, because nowadays with the books you kind of just know the love interest right away. I do still want to be able to have a little bit of mystery with that at first. And another way that it also made it a little harder to tell with love interest was because we didn't have a customizable one. So that also helped to hide getting.
I like that, like hiding, like it's good to guess. Like let's see who is going to come, who is going to be love interest. Is that a love interest? Is that a love interest? What Scarlet? I was like, is that a love interest? Like, no, it's not really. Then it was really interesting to like sort of keep guessing about the love interest.
Yeah, I know. That's something that I really did enjoy about that book at the beginning. If that was to also happen again in the future, that would be really nice. However, Choices is definitely towards a customizable love interest route, so we are not probably going to be seeing a book like that, where we have to guess who the love interest is until we finally find out here.
Yeah, definitely that was really good. But yeah, Veil of Secrets, The Unexpected Heiress. But these two books are definitely my favorite books in mystery genre. And they did it so well.
Yeah, totally. And even like the background music for Veil of Secrets was it was very fitting. It really helped even tell the story as well. The like you know how there's the at the very beginning of the chapters where there's like the main theme of Veil of Secrets. I just love that track a lot. It has a beautiful feeling, a very beautiful sound, but at the same time it sounds very sad or like a little bit like hopeless sometimes. And that's also portrays how it feels sometimes, especially when there was that case not being settled yet.
I liked the unexpected Heiress too. Let's see how it ends. Fingers crossed. I'm really excited. I can't wait 2 more Saturdays to read the last chapter. I will be a little bummed too because I really enjoyed Huge, John, and Lady Gemma. Both all of them, like how they're and all the characters and even the villains. Like when there was a Empress, Genius or Worthington to get the truth out of them or just toy with them. All those things I liked very much. So I'm missing them.
Yeah, me too. Bless you. I hope you're feeling okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
I am really gonna miss the crew as well. Like even the nobles, I thought that they were really funny. They're all so different. I think my favorite one would be I think his name is Lord. He has this cute little dog,
Who again?
Lord Tully.
Oh yeah. I remember. The one with the dog, Ruppet or something.
Yeah, Rupert. I love Rupert. I love seeing this is pet and dog. That just like it puts an instant smile on my face. But he seems like a really nice character. Although I don't agree with his political views, he did seem like a type of character that you could sit down with and have a nice conversation with. I'm just not talking about and stuff.
Yeah. I would like to have a conversation with John, Hughes, Gemma, and Francis. They seem really nice. With all four of them, like a night out.
Exactly. Yeah, they seem like the perfect match to have all of them.
Yeah. And our main character, like John and Gemma, are related to each other. So, and our main character gets romance with all of them. Well, and we're in a fake marriage with Francis. So if they wanted to extend it with a scandal for a book too, I wouldn't have complained because I like the characters at this point.
Yeah, if there was a book two, I would have been all for that too. I'm thinking that there's not going to be a book two, but I would have loved it if there was one. And if there was a book two, I wonder what we would be focusing on, possibly like the fights that they have after the marriage, how that goes. And based on who you marry, there may be some scandals or some stigma attached to it, especially like with Gemma, if you chose Gemma, and with even Hugh because he's not a noble.
Oh yeah, Hughes, I think he's pretty underrated. I don't think he gets as much sin as John and Gemma gets. And I don't know, it's because like you said, because of his like status or something. Because I just felt like we should have gotten some more scenes, and like John gets more of the scenes, and also it's kind of even when we had a scene with Huge, then we get out and John tells us that some information. But when we saw John, the first thought that crossed our mind, does John know about we kissing Hughes in the stables? So it's kind of obvious like John is the main love interest there, like what they're pushing for. So with the storyline, but yeah, there's you can choose anyone because there is equal choice for the three of them. But I think Hughes should have gotten a bit more screen time. I think I like the character.
Yeah, so the ranking when it comes to the screen time kind of scenes, to me, it seemed as though at first number one was John. he gets the most exposure in the book, and then Hugh comes next, and then Gemma is third.
But still, like, since this week, that Gemma's hosting, we get some time, like, before that, we got a lot of time with John. Only, and Gemma and Hughes were like this on the same boat. Didn't get much time. I think earlier we got, but we didn't things with Gemma. You're right. But I think a week where was doing a lot of things. They kind of match the talents of Hughes and Gemma. But yeah, John still is like, who is definitely, the writers want you to fall for.
He's definitely the writer's favorite. You can tell with a lot of the books that there's favoritism for certain love interest, and John seems to be the number one
I
that
agree.
makes the most sense in the story. Although I won't romance John, I can see that he's supposed to be the one that you're supposed to.
I know. I mean, I don't usually like this. I mean, some characters I like Gabe. I kind of liked him as a friend, but pushing him down. I think we should have given a bit more option when maybe a gender customizable Gabe. That would have been super awesome. Because Aslan is, like, we have had a lot of nice you know female love interest, but like a boss one, we don't have much in these kind of books. So I think it would have been nice to see a female Gabe POV. And same goes for Adrian, like, Bloodbound, also a dominant a little bit, and Ethan, of course, that's there. But I think with John, I think they did it in a way that, even if, like, I really started liking this character from chapter 2 or something. So I think, out of all the dominant love interests in Choices, this is the character that I would, over any day, I can go along with this character, even though, they're just gonna force it. That's just how I personally, for me personally, like how, like, I did John's character, the tragedy he had, and it's just, I liked it so much. Though all of them have tragedies. Lady Jama has a tragedy. Hughes has like a sad lifestyle. But I think it's a good book. But I will feel sorry for the rest of the two love interests when I choose one, because it's really hard to choose.
Yeah, I know. Because two of them already, was it two or three of them already confessed? I'm not sure yet about. I don't remember if Hugh did, but I know that John. Actually, I think they all three of them do, depending on what choices you make.
I think I chose all of them pretty much. Lady Jama confessed it when we were like going through those mazes of. She confessed when we were peeping through those secret hallways in the ambassador's room. She confessed then. In this chapter, John confessed it. Hughes hasn't yet confessed yet.
In an earlier playthrough, when I got to chapter 14 yesterday, I told he doesn't actually confess at the same chapter.
Oh, he
So
did.
it's basically like the same type of, because you got to choose between you and John. It's the same kind of statement that you see in other places. It's like on outside street.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because you get an alternative between Hughes and John, like who you get to choose to go. Yeah, it was sad to leave Hughes out, but yeah. Then yeah, all three of them, like it's between Hughes and John and Gemma, like Hughes slash John, and then Gemma on the other hand. So I think it's pretty good that did with that. Like if it was between Hughes and Gemma, then I think it would have been really hard.
Yeah, definitely. I do like how they had Gemma's confession in an earlier chapter. It worked perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. It's like one of the few books where I feel like I have a mental bond with all the love interest, and I can sympathize with them, and they've all been through their fair share of trouble. It's also like another thing that I like about this book.
Yeah, I know it doesn't just show the nobles as people that are vain or selfish and uncaring. They show different sides of them, and you show how Don, who is a very important part of the noble society for peerage, that he's actually a very sweet person, and that he has a lot of care for others and a lot of compassion when it comes to the situation with the way that people like Worthington are when it comes to India.
Very interesting. And also Francis, his love for Amelia, it's really good. Like how it's we are seeing developments in that relationship. Even though Amelia is dead, like I think Francis is now going to take over the charity work for like that Amelia used to do. That's a really good development.
It is, and it's also it makes me a little bit sad too because he's the perfect partner for Amelia. He truly cared about her so much that he's going to his way to actually continue what he did. That's true love.
100%. I'm also gonna be sad that Amelia is dead and gonna be alone. Yeah, it's the bonding is really good there. Even though she's dead, how he's cherishing her memories and her work. Like it's really good.
Yeah, and over time, I also learned to appreciate Francis more. Like he's the perfect ally in a way.
So that's about the unexpected heiress. Queen Bee. Let's talk about that. So the recent chapter. Wow, I didn't expect that. It's now a three-way race. I thought Poppy's just gonna be replaced by our main character, but it's interesting. I don't know how the storyline will be from now on because it's now X, MC, and Poppy's still there. Pretty down, but still there.
Let me know. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. How are you?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure if you were able to hear me clearly right now.
Yeah, right now I can hear you clearly.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure before I got Queen Bee. So Queen Bee, I already kind of figured that we would become part of the race again because she's done so much already. She's put so much on the line to be part of that competition. I didn't think they would just take her out and not consider again. So I'm glad that she's back. That was expected for me. She was very ruthless that chapter. She's scary. Like if I was a side character in that series, I would not want to be crossing her. But it is. But I'm so curious to see how that plays out. Now that there's 50 people in the running, and that there's 50 people you have to get before. And obviously, the last book, you remember when Poppy was pulling all these tricks to sabotage us. Now that's going to be a bigger risk because this book we didn't see that because Poppy wasn't really part of anything yet. So now there might be even more drama with Poppy causing drama and tricks and whatever stuff like that to try to get Regina out or that's something that I can anticipate might be happening just because of the way that Poppy is.
Also, how she's going to act toward us because so far until chapter 8 she was like, I'm your enemy, but I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna be friend with you. Also feel like it was a weird kind of environment around Poppy, but now I think Poppy's gonna be out for us because it was horrible. What Poppy did to our main character, betrayed us, and then we gave Poppy the something, our peace of mind, and like we got the revenge. So Poppy still is going to be mad at us. So we'll have to see how this goes. And also, I think Apoidia has the next challenge for us. And I wonder whether we'll have to partner up with Poppy or not because it says chances come in pairs or something. It's also signed RO for the first time. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good clue that it could be we're gonna be pairing with someone. And if it's with Poppy, I don't even know if she's gonna try to sabotage or not. But I think she could because even in the other chapter where they take the murder spree, she was at the same time helping Regina, but at the same time she was also sabotaging her. So there's a lot more danger when it comes to Poppy now. The stakes are much higher.
By the way, did you use the information or dirt you got on Poppy in the last chapter? I didn't see.
Yes, actually, when we in the previous chapter last week, when we got to look through her phone, we saw a bunch of information about financial issues that her family was having, and that and like in the chapter after, we basically aired her dirty laundry, which is just called. I was a bit mad about that too. We do get to use it when you say stuff like that. It brings her reputation lower, or it makes our look better. We bring that up, so it definitely helps.
Yeah, it has consequences. Yeah, I just didn't, see the scene. I watched the playthrough, like the whole, but I just was wondering which scene it was.
It can be hard to find, but it's near the end after Poppy was pushed into the fake blood pool. Or it may have been before that. I'm not sure if it was before or after, but he basically revealed to everyone there that Poppy's father movie studio was not doing so well. That came after Poppy threatened to sue everyone, threatened to sue the main character. She pretty much told them about what's going on and about how Poppy's vacation thing were sold. That was really funny.
Yep, it was fun, like how the whole drama goes down, and I like the part where someone like did a cannonball or something in the fake blood. That was the hilarious moment.
Yeah, you mean Ford? Ford's like he has like the mind of a child, but in an adult body. But he's really funny though. I love this character too.
Yeah, and I saw your playthrough. You literally chose the bad girl route, and oh my god, the way the main character goes and like has I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but like some semi like intimate moment with Celine and Chloe, and the way then she warns them off. It was hilarious. Like do not mess with me.
Oh my god, I can't believe they even had that too. Like that's just like we're at a party here on the side. Like, I'm watching you. That I thought was very funny. And Chloe, she's the type of person where you're not really sure if she knew what you were saying. She probably did it, but to me, Chloe is she's not like a dangerous character.
But wait. Here's what I was thinking. Isn't Chloe acting a bit like Duffy at this point? Too innocent.
That I did not consider that before. Yeah, she could end up being like Duffy actually.
Yeah, that
If that happens, I will be shocked because they do a good job of making her look like an airhead. So I would be very shocked because she played like that for so long. So it would be a big shock to me if that ended up being the case, especially because we don't know who X is, and X is apparently at that party, but then a lot of people still think X is the D, so it's a bit confusing to me. Maybe there's two X's, who knows?
Two X. Of course. I mean, yeah, I know. Like a lot of people are saying like it's a demon. I don't think how it makes sense because also they're saying the X is someone who was in the party, like or in that the game where Poppy betrayed us. So yeah, I think it's between Liam. It's between it could be Carter, it could be Chloe, it could be Celine, or as they say, right? But I don't know. It's just weird at this point. Let's see. I mean, if this is the dean, then I hope they better have some good explanation as to why she is the ex. Otherwise, she she's like off the brand, who wouldn't write this kind of emails and stuff, like on the T post, like those posts are like it's gonna be fun, hilarious, like if we find out like I can see if the date is the ex, then main character Zoe will be gossiping first. That there will be the description will be there like, oh, you can't believe like the granny can write like the kids and like teenagers and stuff. So it would be hilarious in a way if we see that. I don't know, like it could be anything. But I hope like if it's someone like Chloe or Veronica, I think it would be more interesting.
It would make more sense too, because even though the gene could possibly be involved now, or maybe could even be X herself, she doesn't seem like the one who's that low level where she's just a student in her school. But again, we didn't really know because there's been other rotten beans and other stories. But again, what you were saying, I just can't imagine her writing missions to the TV that way. That would be so funny. Because if she isn't using X, I would be surprised like if she wrote that, or maybe it was the people who were working with her that for her. So there's a lot of possibilities. But it would make more sense to me if it was Veronica or Chloe or Carter or Celine, because they're the ones who, because they're the main character's peers, and some of them may be very jealous of her.
It's also a mystery, like the unexpected areas where we need to find X. Let's see how this goes on. And like I said, it could be, maybe it's not any of these top 15, because usually at this point, the suspects we have, they're not the real culprits, like Mr. Jennings and the ambassador. Yeah.
Yeah, like it takes time. Like there's you that you pull back and then you realize that this person's not the one involved, or they're not the leader in this conspiracy. So that makes sense that we might have different stages of uncovering who's involved, and that it could ultimately be someone who's not at the school, or someone that we haven't previously considered, or that it could end up actually being the dean.
Could be. So finger crossed for this one too. Let's see how this goes down.
Yeah, Queen Bee is turning out really, really well. I'm really looking this.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like a lot of drama and like something that is unrealistic to some extent, but you can just enjoy in your own universe, like that, like things you can't do in real life, but you can just enjoy here. So in that way, it's like super fun.
I know, that's what I love about it so much. And then, like at the most recent chapter, how when she's talking to the sacrifice, she brings up like the brand name of her shoes. I just thought that was funny because I'd never even heard of that brand before. So here she is, caught up on all the latest fashions, which I'm kind of not. So it is nice to play that role in this book, to be someone that I'm not in real life. I love it. And then even the way that the book is written is also pretty funny. It's unique.
Yeah, it's like like a comedy show is going on, or like how people would in a comedic way will think inside their mind about something. That's pretty unique.
Yeah, I know, and I really commend the movie writers. They're doing such a great job with that too. I remember the first book, one of the memorable scenes was when not Poppy, but when Billy was taking the main character to a nice bar that was a little hidden, the same bar where we met or Ian for the first time. And while she was talking to her, there was a scene written as if Zoe was looking at the main character like she was a fawn, or like a baby fawn that was like in danger, or something, like stuff like that really got me. But I love it. And then there's even more of that, more material like that in the second book too. It's great.
And I'm just waiting now for this book too. That how they go about X and how we get to X. It's going to be interesting. Seven more chapters left here. Let's see how they go about it.
I'm very excited for. I'm loving this book so much. I usually the choices books are 15 or 16 chapters, so I don't know what it's going to be in this case. But I would like this. I would like this to be a long book, and I would love a third book if we can get one.
Yeah, I think this could be the last book because I wouldn't be surprised if there's a book three. But I think just depending on like the context, I don't think they would have much material left after this book. Excuse me.
Yeah, um, I'm thinking that too. That if they have us the series perfectly, that they may not want to have a book three. Sometimes we've been promised a book three or a book six, but it's not end up not happening. And that ended up being with the books that were kind of lost for us to be able to read. So I don't know yet, but because it has a lot of fans, it could possibly get a book three.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I
Hello?
can hear you.
Oh yeah, your voice is gone for a moment, but yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Was my voice gone for a few moments?
Yeah, but now I can hear you. Like, I think, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so you're saying something?
What I was saying was that with other books that Pixelberry had, they promised the sequel. Some of them were for books that were pretty much already closed plot wise, but they ended up not have it happening anyway. So that's why I'm doubtful that we'll see part three.
That's pretty much true, I would say. I mean, if it has a book three, then I would I'd love to see next year also some crazy fun like this. Will definitely continue, but let's see what happens here.
What I would guess is that they would show Queen Bee and starting out her career and then continue the romance that was written before, or romance associated with that instead, and maybe having people at her job uh, sabotaging her, like another Chloe, not another Chloe, but like another Poppy, for example. There could be a lot that they could do, but I think it would be very appreciated in the future book because I'm not the only one who's wanting that too. There's a lot of community fans that are also considering it as a third book, especially the chance to marry the character.
Yeah, I mean, it would be good to see because it's definitely popular, Queen Bee. But yeah, let's see what they do. I don't think it's gonna be a campus book anymore. But yeah, they can take it further, like a workplace drama again, and where we can, get together with Poppy sometimes, come face to face, or Chloe, some new villains, some new drama.
I know there's if they were to go with the third book, there is a lot of material that they could have instead of just being the iconic drama book and the choices app. There's so much other type of drama they could bring up, workplace drama. That's the case in some other books too, in choices. And it could there's extremely possibilities. Possibly she could take a campus job, be a recruiter or something like that, and she could end up still being on the campus environment anyway. Somehow.
I totally agree with that. I would love something like that. Even if not new book, too, then a new book like that focuses on that kind of stuff. I would love that drama.
Yeah, if they give us book three, that will be like a first year for everyone.
For sure. That'd be, that'd be really appreciated, I guess.
Yeah, I know because I've come to love this series so much. The first book, I didn't know how I felt about it, but when I reread it and the second book is just amazing.
Yep, I mean, both the books are to me standouts. But yeah, the second book, I think the drama is even more amount.
Yeah, it's a lot more serious in the second book.
Yep. And we still have to find the X because in book one, he's more enemy. But in book two, we don't know.
Yeah, so in book two, it's about it's so different because now you have to look at everyone and see part of the top 10, like who is working against me. There's a few Choices fans that were wondering if Zoe was X. Do you think that would be possible?
I mean, well, technically, I mean, I don't see that happening. If Zoe is not an X, but if Zoe was, then I would have. This probably would have the best book in Choices because no one would have seen it coming, and like you see, like someone who's helping you is like betraying it. That would have made a great plot. Something like maybe there would be a some reason why she would be doing that, like I-9 foreign affairs. I would have liked that kind of plot, but I don't think it's Zoe. Like, it would have been good, but I don't think. Maybe in book one that was possible after the sacrifice thing, but
Exactly. So she may have some motive to do it, but it would be personally, it would be so sad to see it was Zoe because I love her. She's amazing. But if they do end up making her X, that would be like the craziest part of reading.
yeah, then I would need to read the book a second time to see some points where it would say like, okay, so she was X. Those were the hints. I don't see that happening.
Me too, because even though I reread the first book, I don't see any malicious intentions with Zoe, and I don't see like jealousy from her, so I don't think it's likely her.
Professor, yes, she's messing with the main character.
What was that? Sorry?
Oh yeah, a lot of people like at first when the book two came out, they're saying, what if the professor is the X and like just to mess with the main character, they're doing all these things.
Yeah, actually, that would be really interesting. It would be kind of like how I would feel about if the love interest betraying you so much. But that's like such a high level of betrayal. It would be sad if it was, Ian.
Definitely, I don't see that. Zoe and Professor, they're safe. That's
So I'm thinking at this point that Zoe or Ian are probably not X, but that they could have unintentionally accidentally helped X without knowing. So maybe they could be involved in that way, but not as X themselves or intentionally.
let's see. I'm excited to find that out. It's going to be exciting. But I think it would be shocking the revelation, whoever X is.
Yep, and I'm ready. Like, I'm so excited about these chapters. Wednesday can't come fast enough. I'm just really ready for it. Usually, I think of Wednesdays as just normal days for me, but now that we have really good books on those days that are released, I love Wednesdays now.
It's like it matches the average reading time of some readers because I it's like I can with the video on I don't need to pause it because you give plenty of time to read what is on the screen. Like in some places it's really like super fast or a bit fast and you may need to pause somewhere, but they get like enough time to read like okay, so that's it's going on like so that is really super good something. I really appreciate it when you read the Queen Bee book last chapter from your playthrough.
Oh, you mean from my playthrough?
Yeah, playthrough. Yeah, like
Yeah, the one thing that I always felt weird was how I take very long to read the chapters. I felt a bit weird about that, but the reason I do it is because I like to look at the background too. I like to look at all the details. I like to be in the moment with the music and take my time to read the dialogue. So it ends up being that my playthroughs are a little longer than average.
Yeah, that was really good, because I first of all I do the same thing. When I read it, like I will pause at a certain time. I'll just look at the character, look at the love interest, or just look at the background. For instance, the last chapter of the Unexpected Heirs, so the picnic spot, that was super awesome. So I took a screenshot and I just was looking at the background, just the background music. I was just relishing the moment. I was trying to feel it. So yeah, I totally get what you mean. And when you upload to YouTube, I think it's long, but also gives time. Like you don't need to pause or like reduce the play time, so as to it doesn't mess the music, but also like you can just with your average reading time you can just read it. It's quite good. I
Yeah, because I think of choice as an experience, like a full experience, so uh, that's why I read it that way. But I am happy to hear that you appreciate it too, because I was always curious, like, what do choices fans prefer? Do they prefer playthroughs that are fast, or do they prefer ones where you take your time? I think that there's an audience for both types of playthroughs.
think doing this is good because like you can just speed it up. But yeah, that if you speed it up it will mess up the music a little bit, and if you slow it down that also messes up the music. But I think yours are perfect. Like it's not like too much time, but it's just like average time. Like sometimes like I really need to go through, and then when I'm at the last line it's already on the next screen, and then I need to pause it multiple times. That doesn't happen with your playthrough, so that's one thing I really appreciate about that.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad you mentioned that because the way that I read the chapters, I wasn't sure if it was how other people read it, but it does seem like it is because you mentioned that it's similar for you as well, and it does give you the time to actually pause and look at the scene and actually examine it, really process it.
Yeah, yeah, just to you can just sink in the moment. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so I lost you there for a moment, but yeah, it's back. Internet.
Yeah, this year is like all over the place, probably because of increased like workload online and everything. Internet feels like it's a lot more unstable this year.
Yeah, that could be it. A lot of work from home stuff. Yeah, so I think that's about Queen Bee. So what else we said we'll talk about? It still feels like there's a lot of ground to cover, and we're almost nearing 2 hours. Oh, choices do have a lot of content.
It definitely a lot. I believe the other books was it Wolf Pride and Shipwreck.
Yeah, but I haven't read the recent VIP chapter of Shipwreck, and I don't remember remember the sixth chapter of Shipwrecked. What happened there? Do you?
Shipwrecked for the first six chapters. Yeah, that's tricky because I'm reading the the VIP release schedule.
I know. I jump on. I watch some, like not too much that but I just watch something like watch the outfit. That was really awesome. A lot of people are asking me like, did you unlock the outfit? I said like, no, I haven't played it yet. So yeah, but I said I told them like I watched it on your playthroughs. So yeah, stuff like that, and some stuff about Wake the Dead also, but not fully. I have some information, but not fully. But Wolf Pride, I'm caught up with that. More or
Okay, yeah, that sounds good then. I know the most recent shipwreck chapter. I'm not sure what I'm gonna be doing with that. I'm gonna be age restricting it just because you know everything with YouTube. But it was a good chapter. The chapter 14.
I think a lot of people started comparing it with Witness and saying that the romance-based book. But I'm so far in chapter 5, and I don't think we get a proper hookup scene with them being a love interest, and we also bond with them. And I think we just learn about oh, I forgot the name. Someone our love interest Manu, and then also we sort of bond with each other. I think it's yeah, romance genre, but it's not too much steamy, and there is proper adventure because I think the partner who betrayed our love interest will be back in this book as a villain, and we probably will retrieve her ship and we will sail back to the lands, the ship that was gifted to her by her grandfather before he died. I think, and definitely, I feel like there's some drug smuggling going on in this island, and that could have something to do with the biome or the ecosystem there that is quite strange, as main character observed. Like I'm so far in chapter 6, but I can see that happening. Sort of.
There's a lot that happens. I'll just tell you that. But when it comes to the characters leaving the island, we still have no idea how that's gonna happen, even at chapter 14. So there's still a lot to see, a lot to learn.
Yeah, it's
So
gonna
so the
happen.
book will keep you busy when you go through it.
That's interesting. I am loving this book. This one-on-one time with the love interest. I don't think we have this much time in any other book. Much it's just super awesome. I'm liking this so much, and I think the love interest particularly is like you're just bonding with them so well, and just spending time and their dry humor. It's just awesome.
Yeah, I know. I love it a lot because at first Manu is kind of difficult to deal with, but then you start to really appreciate Manu as a person, and and then you start to see yourself with Manu um, in life, like how you would be without being on the island.
Yeah, that is super awesome because the emotional roller coaster we go through, and then how we break the walls that our love interest put up around us. We get closer. It's just interesting there.
Yeah, I know. I love learning more about Manu. I feel like we still haven't learned enough yet, but that could be something that comes up later in the book.
Wow.
Maybe even if there's a book two.
Wow, I would love that. I would very much love that if there's a book too, because this is one of the few love interests that I enjoyed this year so much. And since last year, the love interests I enjoyed, they didn't get a book too. I enjoyed Charlie, didn't get a book too. Enjoyed what else? Aina didn't get a book too. And this time it's Manu. Let's see what happens with this.
Isn't that funny how all of my favorite love interests, most of them don't have a book two?
Also kept it there.
I realized that too.
Yeah. That's just so sad. Yeah. I think when choices do these things, like they have surrender. I think it's
Hello?
difficult. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Good.
Yeah. So I was thinking, just I just saw the surrender poster out. I think I know it's hard to do it, but they should include some old characters in these books as a love interest. Maybe if it was like some character who is also in this book. You know what I mean? Like a continuation from there. Maybe Aina, or a male love interest and a female love interest with Slash. That would be awesome because you already know them, and then we get to explore in this sort of what they call the BDSM genre. Though I think that would be different.
Oh, like a crossover. That would be really wonderful because With Aina, I love her a lot too. She's my one of my favorites. If we got to learn more about her, like that would have been wonderful. So then, if you see Aina in this book, that's like a continuation for Aina fans who felt like they didn't see her enough. So maybe they could consider that with some characters from earlier books. I would love that actually.
Kyra and Open Heart. She said she's going to travel. I thought maybe we'll see her in some other books, but we haven't seen her yet. And those characters, I would love to see them somewhere else. A crossover. Like using a model, but like an actual crossover.
You mean like Kyra? You would want to see her in that book possibly?
Yeah, maybe this book or some other new book. Like because she says she's going to travel after she defeated cancer. So maybe we see somewhere and then we get just a scene with her. You know what I mean? Just like not her sprite, but the actual Kyra from Open Heart. Like she's traveling the world. She tells us some stories about her fight with cancer in Edenbrook. She brings up and our MC there. Like in with every heartbeat, we get an Ethan scene. You know.
Right. I would love to see that too, actually. And they do have some crossovers when it comes to books that are set in the same world, like Nightbound and Bloodbound.
Oh yeah, the graveyard shift.
Yeah.
I love Ivy. Oh my god, I love her.
Yeah, I remember Cal was in both books. It was funny. And then even Priya, too. She was in both of them.
Oh, did you just say Cal was in both books? The werewolf?
Yeah, he was in Bloodbound and in Nightbound.
I know in the holiday special there was Shaft. Oh, in which book there was Cal? What?
It was book 2. I'm not gonna tell you what happens, but I think it's kind of funny and it's weird.
Like just one chapter?
No, I believe it's like 1 or 2, possibly 3 chapters.
Okay, so where was he first? Nightbound or Bloodbound?
He's an original character from Nightbound.
Okay.
But I thought that was like a really nice crossover where you got to see another love interest
Yeah,
there. I love that.
that's the first time they did it. Yeah, Ethan.
Oh, Ethan, right? Yeah, he was in With Every Heartbeat too. Yeah, I forgot about that for a moment. That was really nice too.
And Fatima and Queen Bee from though she's not a loving but we bring America's Most Relatable back. Oh, I love that.
What was it about America's Most Eligible?
Oh, did you read the book?
Yeah, I'm currently reading it. What was the character name?
Oh, like the designer Fatima.
Oh, right. Yeah, her. She's like a stylist even in Queen Bee. She may have even been a stylist. I'm wondering if she's a stylist in Platinum too. I know there's another one that is a stylist though, but yeah, that's a really nice touch to it too. I like that.
And they didn't just use their model, but like there was reference. Like she was in America's Most Eligible, and it was fun.
Yeah, I love to see that, how they can connect that with the different books that are in the same world, choice world. If you think about it, it's always exciting when you're reading another book and you see a mention of another choices book or another aspect or even a character from that book.
Yeah, 100%. I always love that. Always love that. I hope they do it more.
Yep, I would love to see more of that. Yeah.
So, what what we're talking about? I kind of forgot the original discussion, but I think we covered all the recent books, right?
Yeah, all of them. I believe not Wolf Bride though, but all of the other books were covered.
So what's your input on Oath Pride this week's chapter?
Were you asking like what I was thinking about Wolf Bride?
Yeah, like what happened? I know, like I think Isabel is really listening to us for the first time, isn't she?
I think it depends on the how on which choices you make because you get to so for the recent chapter you get to go with the werewolf team to go cleanse or at least like fix what was it called? I don't know how to describe it, but it was an area where SEP, their energy and power destroyed because they were dumping waste there, right? Like some sort of oil, and it polluted the whole area. So they had to go there to use the primal magic or primal energy to fix everything. That's a really nice thing from that chapter, and you get to choose who you stay with. You get to choose who you get to help while that happens. And I chose Isabel, but I think if you chose the other characters, you would get points with them. So maybe they would be more friendly to you. But I already think Callum is really friendly anyway. He's a sweetheart. However, Jet, I don't know how I feel about Jet, but if I chose him scene, maybe he would have been more nice to me in like the later chapters. But so far, I haven't chosen the favorable scenes with him. So he's probably the one that does not like me the most in that book, in this playthrough.
Probably will come.
Do you think he would come around?
Yeah, I mean, when Morgan will join the forces with the wolves, then probably because clearly Morgan is a wolf, and then it's about time she realizes who she is and she joins. That'd be interesting.
Exactly. So then when they finally see that she's a real member of the pack, then Jet can change how he behaves towards the main character. I can see that happening. But I do think I think that Callum has no issue. He's a very friendly character anyway. Jet, I have issues with, or well, I mean, he has issues with the main character, not me specifically, but and then there's Isabel, which is she's kind of in the middle. I don't dislike her character at all. I think she's great. She's a complex character. I have a lot of respect for her. I wish that there was like a way, like a playthrough where you don't romance Bastion and she gets to end up with him. Because she deserves that. I really do feel like she deserves to be with Bastion. For those who are romancing Morgan.
Similarly, like someone from Morgan, if I don't take those, someone from the town, that was like an extra character. The main character could have brought along her best friend. That would have been super awesome. Like we don't see any best friend.
You mean best friend in Wolf Bride?
Yeah, like say like if a main character had a best friend in the town, and that best friend comes here and learns like, oh wow, you got yourself in here. That would have been interesting to see because our main character comes here alone.
Yeah, she's basically isolated from her previous life completely. Doesn't seem to be in contact with anyone outside of Hunt's Peak. So yeah, that would be cool if that happened. But it looks like we are not getting a book 2 for this series or for this book.
Yeah, the books. One book.
Would you have wanted it to be a book 2?
I wouldn't say it was needed, but it's okay. But if they could have gone for some more drama, yeah, why not? I think it's just okay to have just one book.
Yes, I think where it leaves off, and at the end, it's okay as a single book story. But I know that there were some fans who did want book 2 because they really liked the action.
Oh yeah, I
But it
know
ended up
that.
not happening. I think it's probably because of how controversial the series.
Yeah, but I know like if someone likes one book, they can have thousand books of that. I personally know like I liked Amy to the extent that I was bummed that it ended, even though it had trilogy. Yeah, if you like the Royal Romance, like a lot of people are really sad and they cried because the series ended and it had like a lot of books. So yeah, when you like something, then it's hard to say goodbye.
Yeah, I really felt that when I saw that my friends were in love with the series. So at the end of an era and choices, it seemed like such a significant series for one of the most well read and probably the most in the profit or money overall.
I could still read it, but yeah, I understand like the emotions around it.
I didn't hear the last thing you mentioned.
Oh yeah, I said like I would have to read it, but I do understand the emotions around it about it being ending.
Yeah, because from what I was hearing from my friends, they said they would really miss the characters. Like a lot of them will miss Olivia, Maxwell's interesting character, even Drake. So that series, it seemed as though a lot of people really bonded with those characters, and that they're really gonna miss them.
I know. I have seen it like a lot of edits and stuff for the finale. Yeah, a lot of people liked it, and it's like a Choices classic. So yeah, without any doubt, it's been there for, since the start of the Choices. So yeah, it's the end of an era.
Truly, it's also even though I didn't finish the book, I do feel bad for those fans because now they're to them they have to. I mean, it's not as serious as like grieving, but like they're mourning the end of a book basically that has been done for so long.
Yeah, that is
So
true.
I'm wondering if there's gonna be another the romance type of book released in the future. I know that it does very well with choice.
I don't think
So
so.
so you don't think they would make another series similar to it?
Next 4 or 5 years because they will take a rest and then probably they can start anew. Because I don't see any book like AME or High School Story or Royal Romance getting a shot again. I think maybe 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that. That's a good point though. It doesn't seem that choices repeat the types of books that they release. Like if when they're done with the series, they're officially done.
Yeah,
So that's something that I can see happening with the Royal Romance, especially because it has other 3 books to complete.
maybe they can come up like they do a holiday special. That would be understandable. But I don't think even that. We'll see.
You don't think they would do a holiday special?
No, I think they're not doing any holiday special this year. Also, I think since the pandemic they stopped it. But even if they come around it, they do some holiday special next year. I think that would be about the books released next year. I don't think it's going to be about Royal Finale or America's Most Eligible. But if at some point they do it, like a tribute to the fans, maybe when it completes 10 years or something, or they release a special book, possibilities are endless. And choices go on.
Yeah, you're right. If they were to continue or to start making the holiday book again, it wouldn't be the previous release. It would have to be a book that's currently running, one that just recently ended at that moment or around that time.
Yeah, I agree.
There is one book that I could really see having a good holiday series, which is The Nanny Affair.
Oh, cross my heart, definitely. I mean, it's super popular. am super popular, so yeah, 100%. It
Yeah,
was.
I didn't even realize how popular that series is until I found out that there's a third book. So that one would be a prime example of a series that would do well with a holiday book. I can't think of another one, but possibly even Queen Bee would be good for a holiday book too.
The Queen Bee would be exciting, like 4 chapters of drama in the sorority house or something, about mystery about something, like someone leaked some personal info, or someone faked something about main character and it's getting revenge and ratting the rat out. That was super awesome.
Yeah, like a situation like that, and then having the Queen Bee plan a holiday party and someone trying to sabotage it. I can see that being a storyline.
If that happens, I would be excited. Let's hope we can do it at some point next year. Fingers crossed. I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah, maybe sometime next year that could happen, especially if they do well with their book. I would love to see that.
I would love that. We have a lot of the freshman series, but if they do it for other books. That'd be
Yeah, the Elementalist had a very nice holiday book. I picked one for the freshman series and Bloodbound too. Very good holiday book.
Oh yeah. I was hoping I would get something from Nightbound, but yeah, Bloodbound one was really good.
I didn't hear what you last mentioned. Did you play all of Bloodbound?
No, I just played the holiday special, and I said I wished there would be a Nightbound holiday special, but there was only Bloodbound holiday special.
Oh, you mean Nightbound holiday special?
Yeah, I was expecting that. I was hoping for that.
I know, Nightbound, a one book series. I loved it so much. It's one of my top books. It would have been so nice if there was a holiday book just to keep it going.
Yeah. But yeah, let's hope like next year they come up with some holiday special for a newly releasing book next year.
Yeah, maybe if the situation at Pixelberry improves when it comes to finances, maybe they'll be able to finally start picking up at releasing holiday books. I would love to see that, like a Christmas book, or maybe even like a Thanksgiving book,
Yeah,
or
Halloween.
another holiday, maybe even a Valentine's Day book too.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can see the future.
that would be super awesome. I mean, I just hope they do something for occasions because it makes theirs feel super special. I, they did it a lot with the freshman. The freshman has a lot of side books, 1 chapter book, 2 chapter book, even with one love interest. Just, I hope they do it. It's just really interesting.
Yeah, I know it's a very nice addition to the story. And it's also very appreciated by everyone because even though I didn't read much of the rest of it, I still loved the side story that I read. The one that had Caitlin.
Vampire one, the
Yeah, the vampire one. I really, really enjoyed it. I read it very, very recently. I'm considering going back to the freshman series to just finish it up because I hear it's wonderful. But I did enjoy that side book because it was lighthearted. It was pretty easy to get through. I did like a nice Halloween aspect to it too. So more Halloween books, I would be all for that.
me too, same. I mean, I liked the spooky books from side books from side stories from freshman.
Was there another one other than the one with Caitlin?
Yeah, there was what was it? It's from freshman, and it's about story, a Halloween haunts or something. I can't remember, but it's under the freshman series, like short series. It's about a story Like it's about a serial killer or someone. It's a good story. Like it's just a story within a story.
Huh, that is very interesting. I would love to check that one out.
Yeah, where you also get to romance Becca if you choose to.
Oh, okay. So in that one, in that side story, they have it's focusing on one love interest, which is Becca. That's very cool. I would have not guessed that.
You can choose from Becca, Kathleen, Chris, and two more or three more. Right. But Becca, for the first time in a short, side series, is a love interest in that one.
Wow, that is. I did not really know about this stuff. That's
Yeah, I really like that book. It was also like I read it around last year Halloween. That-
Oh, last year, one of the holiday books that I went through were the Blood Raffle, the Elementalist.
And
I believe there was another holiday book that I also read that I really liked. It was fun.
there was which one? What'd you say? Was which one? Your voice got cut off.
So last year, I really enjoyed the Bloodbound holiday book a lot, and I read it around the time that it was Christmas too, so it worked perfectly.
Blood Bond. I mean, I didn't want to read a big book, so I chose a side series. Like others for Blood Bond or others for First Strike. They're spooky, but yeah, Blood Bond.
Bloodbound is definitely a really good series. If you do get to it later, it does feel like there's a lot. So there's a lot. The plot is very long. There's a lot of different twists, surprises, but it's worth it. It's a pretty good book.
I would have to catch up on the main Bloodbound series, though I've read the holiday specials. But yeah, it seems fun.
Yeah, so if you do end up going for that book, I believe you would like it. It's a little bit horror book. It's kind of like horror, and then there seems to be like a lot of mystery as not mystery. Well, there is some mystery to it, but a lot of historical aspect as well.
Yeah, I know. I played the first chapter and I'm still there. Like we have lots of old, artifacts and stuff in Adrian's office, and it's like full of mystery. And it's just good.
That series has so much to it. Yeah, there's three books, and even like the holiday one. That book has to be busy left.
I agree with you. I liked playing the holiday special, and I sort of liked the characters there. Jax, Adrian, Camila, Lily. They're all super interesting love interests and friends. So yeah.
They're all so different too, which I love.
I personally felt connected to Jax because how I think he was kind of like huge. Like he was not from there. A lot of people said he doesn't belong there. He got the disrespect from a lot of people, and Adrian and Camila definitely stood up for him, but a lot of people stared him down. So I kind of liked him, the tragic hero vibe he has. Even though he's from there, but kind of he doesn't get that. I liked that.
Yeah, that does seem like it's a situation. How he is, how he's not part of it. That's very true, and Lily to a lesser extent.
I will give it a shot sometime. That other series because it has a good story.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you do that you end up like it. There's a lot to it. So. So because it's like three books, like even if you take your time, you'll still enjoy it that way. Because I remember at one point I also took my time for the second book, but I read the third book pretty quickly.
I did read the holiday special, so I do know like how fun it can be and how spooky it can be. So yeah, it's just like the three books are there. So yeah, I would definitely get into that.
Yeah, there's some very, very scary parts of that book too. But I didn't think it would be like a horror type of book, but it is. It's not always like horror. Also, there's so much adventure and action, but there does seem to be a lot of very intense moments too. So if you enjoy that type of book where there's a lot of high stakes situations, then you may like it.
Okay. That sounds like my kind of book though. So I will definitely give it a try. Okay, yeah, this winter I will definitely gonna give it a try. After the unexpected Heiress ends, I'm going to read it every week.
Yeah, that's a very good starting point. That's what I did too, though, because I read one chapter every week because I looked at it and I didn't know it was going to be such a long read. But I'm glad I made the decision to read it. It's like one of it's almost like a like a choice of process.
Yeah. By the way, your voice is breaking a little bit. Can you fix it? I mean, I can understand, but like fading in and fading out.
Sure, let me try something.
Now you're audible. I don't know what happened, but yeah, you're audible.
Good.
You're good. Yeah, can you hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay, so I think we did cover the books we released this week, chapters rather. Yeah, so you did mention earlier about Lady Gemma's imposter game, and who gets the Choices character. So do you play it?
Yeah, I think that would be a very good opportunity. Were you thinking about that for today or possibly at another time?
Yeah, possibly at another time. That would be good. We can play like with some other folks also. Like if I get to get some other folks on, that'd be great. Whatever you prefer.
That would be wonderful. I would love to join that. It sounds like a really fun thing to do too. So maybe I could even get some materials prepared for who I plan to describe to.
Yeah. I mean, like someone on my YouTube comment section did some, like I really liked those, and I got almost all of them right except one or two. So that was really fun, thinking about that. So yeah.
Yeah, when I saw that video upload that you had for that game, I was very excited. Such a good idea for a podcast. I love that. But definitely let me know about the next one. I'll have some material prepared.
Sure, I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know. No worries. Yeah. And so for today, do you have anything else to add? Like from my end, I think we have pretty much covered everything that we wanted to.
Yeah, I'm very glad we did because I remember last time we a lot of the chapters about the week, but I'm really glad we were able to get to that today. So it's a very good discussion today too. I really enjoyed it.
We covered the new books, but I think still there are lots of old books there that we started talking at first. So yeah, but there's still like a lot of books. So choices, like I said, we can have endless discussions. That's what I really like. But yeah, likewise. Thanks for coming, and it was a fruitful discussion. Like I was a bit sick, but I really enjoyed this conversation, and now I would say thanks for making it like an enjoyable conversation.
I say the same to you too. I really do appreciate you inviting me to speak on the podcast. This is the second time, but it's been been an absolute blast. I really do appreciate it. I feel like there's so much to always talk about. Because even when we kind of talk about the current books, we end up talking about other books that were released last year or maybe earlier in the year. There's so much connection between the books too. There's a lot. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Likewise, it's my pleasure to getting to talk to you and just interacting with you and others. It's just super awesome. And we can always talk about old books. Like maybe we can just do one book or just two chapters we can talk about because there's a lot inside a chapter. Like say it's an adventure book, maybe a certain book, but there's like a lot to it. So yeah, we can do a lot. Like maybe we can just talk about like do something like first four chapters or Across the Void or something, and that you really like. I would really like to get your inputs on that book or some other book like Distant Shores, like specifically the books that is loved by a certain person. It's always good to know their personal opinion on that because I think they will make you see things that you didn't see before about that particular book.
I know you can learn so much from others when they talk about what they appreciate about books, and I think that is a wonderful. That's a perfect idea. I would love to have discussions about Distant Shores and Across the Void because those two books, being one book series, they I feel like they don't get enough love, but they both have their value.
You know, still like we did cover ground, but last time we said like we talked about like top five love interests. We also said we're gonna talk about top five antagonists or top five bugs. But look, like we didn't even get the chance to talk about that.
Oh yeah, you're right. So maybe that can also be discussed like that day when we talk about the chapters with Distant Shores Across the Void. Maybe we can even discuss a little bit about shipwreck, and then also the top five villains or antagonists.
It happens always like whenever I have conversations with Charles, it's like it's never enough. Like it's like so much there to discuss. Fan theories and your own theories. It's fun. Like I'm really glad I played Charles and I came across this community and I got people like you and others. Who, like it's just a blessing, I would say.
Yeah, I was thinking that exactly last night too. Though I'm so thankful for the community because last year when I started playing choices, I was pretty much doing it on my own. I got to talk to everyone.
I'm sorry, but didn't hear the last few sentences because the voice kind of cut off.
Oh, sorry about that. So what I was saying was that music about the book makes it so much better. Very enjoyable experience. It feels like you have so many friends out there that share your system for these books. So there's always a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's always good. I really like again, thank you for joining, and it was worth it. Again, it was Astra. Her playthrough is Astra.Choices. She posts her awesome playthroughs there, and I'll be posting her channel link and her awesome edits. Also, by the way, in between last week and this week, you dropped another edit of the professor. That was super awesome. So do check out her Instagram for her awesome edits and her YouTube playthroughs. That's just new books with a lot of great qualities you can get there. I really enjoy those playthroughs, and definitely again, Astra, thanks for joining. And I know it's morning for you. Thanks for giving some time to me from the morning, from your big day morning, as I should rather say, and just enjoy the happy day. It's your big day, just enjoy and just wear the hat and just sing along and just enjoy with your family, friends, and be happy and just smile all day long. It's your day.
This was a wonderful start to that day from you, which was all thanks to you. I really appreciate it, and I'm gonna enjoy this day the best I can. I'll make the most of it.
Thank you. I'm really glad, grateful for that, and just enjoy your day. Again, happy birthday and take care, stay safe, and I'll see you.
Thank you so much. You too. Take
Thank
care.
Take care too. Bye. It does feel like I do watch these two news anchors saying our goodbyes. It does feel like how when they say their goodbyes, I don't know if you know them. Like there's like two CNN anchors like Don Lemon and CNN when and Chris Cuomo when one goes and the other one comes. Like it just it feels like it just felt like that. But yeah, like I do wish you good. Like stay safe. Take care.
Oh, yeah, I didn't notice that. I used to watch them a lot before too. So that's a pretty funny comparison though. Good to hear though. But yeah, thank you so much for everything today, and I hope you're gonna enjoy the rest of your day, and that your weekend is fun. And thank you so much.
Thanks. Yeah, stay safe and enjoy. Bye. I'll see you.
Bye. Bye. See you soon.
Thanks. See you. Bye.